Hello fellow teammates, welcome back to the IN team. Today's video is all about the nightclub locations. The recent uptick in discounts and events on the nightclub businesses has brought us numerous questions regarding the best nightclub location. So we figured it was time to make a video breaking each of them down. So like in our other location guides, we'll be showing you an area look of each nightclub and their position on the map, any businesses or popular locations nearby, and lastly give you our pros and cons of each location. No matter if this is a first time purchase or you're switching locations, this guide will help you determine what's the best nightclub for your gaming style. So to get started, you need to go to Maze Bank Foreclosures, then select the nightclub category to filter out all other business types. As you can see, there are 10 nightclub locations to choose from, with a majority in the city of Los Santos. We will be going over all these locations, but we suggest avoiding the ones farther south, simply because of their distance from the city and Blaine County. All nightclubs come with a free Vapid Speedo Custom, and a single vehicle storage slot inside the nightclub by your office. You can also purchase additional add-ons such as cosmetics, security, and additional garage and cargo space. Completing nightclub missions will take you all over the city and into Blaine County, so the best location really depends on your playing style and where you spend most of your time in the game. One thing that you might want to factor into your decision is a nightclub's main entrance and garage locations. All missions that require you to return to the nightclub for completion must be completed using either the garage or driving up to the front entrance. And most of the missions will require a specific vehicle, so you'll be leaving your personal vehicle often when completing them. Therefore, if your main mode of transportation is a helicopter, you might want to look for a nightclub with landing space around the base of the building or one that has access to the roof. So we will be starting at the bottom of the map with the Elysian Island nightclub. This nightclub can be purchased for a little over $1 million, making it the cheapest location. This nightclub is detached, located on the Los Santos port, and is the farthest south, so it will take the longest time out of the 10 clubs to complete missions. However, there is plenty of open space to land a helicopter or park your vehicles. And here is the garage entrance. It's the opening in the middle without the trash bins, and the main entrance on this building is on the left side next to that balcony ladder. There's not any noteworthy businesses or attractions nearby this nightclub as it's on the port, but the open space this location provides is great, and you can't beat this price. Yet, the distance from the city and a lack of businesses nearby may be a deterrent for some. Next, we have the LISA nightclub. This location will cost you slightly over $1.1 million. The front entrance is right off the main road and easily accessible for vehicles and helicopters. The Los Santos International Airport is literally right across the street from this location, which is nice if you take a lot of trips to that particular cozy island. And we're classifying this as a detached location as well, since the whole building is pretty much utilized for the nightclub. And the main road that this nightclub is on ends at a huge open parking lot, perfect for landing helicopters or parking a MOC, Avenger, Terabyte, or a Hydra. This is honestly one of the biggest open lots we've seen in proximity to a business in the game, so it makes this location very unique. If you're facing the nightclub, the garage is on the left side of the building, and it's located right next to a 10-car garage. This is extremely convenient, definitely a perk of this location. One of the most time-consuming tasks in the game is moving vehicles between garages, but it'll take seconds if you have this location and its neighboring garage. And this location is also a couple blocks from a vehicle warehouse and the arena, which you can see in the background there. The LISA nightclub is the location with the most open space. Its closeness to the arena and airport is also a nice feature, and the 10-car garage located right next to the garage entrance would definitely make this an attractive location for some players, but its distance from the city and other major businesses is hard to ignore. The next location is Cypress Flats. This location will cost you close to $1.4 million. Cypress Flats is located off a main road. The front entrance is on the corner of the building, and its garage is here on the left side. Unfortunately, there isn't space to land a helicopter near either of these entrances unless you land in the street. And side note, if you're ever looking for the main entrance of a building, look for a door that has a keypad. Almost every business in the game has a keypad next to its main entrance, and in the case of the nightclubs, you can also look for worn posters and flyers. Now the Cypress Flats location is also detached and is positioned on a corner with two alleyways, one in the front of the nightclub and one on the right side. These alleyways can take you to an ammunition and several major roads, including one that leads to the Los Santos car meet, and also a 6-car garage. There's also an additional 10-car garage and a couple large cargo warehouses a block down. The Cypress Flats nightclub is nicely placed on the map and near several major businesses. The alleyways provide several ways to access this location, and an ammunition within walking distance is a very nice perk. However, its distance from the beach and lack of open space around the entrance may be a problem for some, especially if they utilize helicopters as their main mode of transportation. Next up is La Mesa. This location can be purchased at $1.5 million. La Mesa is located on the east side of the city and is a highway right away from Arcadius and the Maze Bank executive offices, which you can see there in the background. Speaking of highways, this location is nested under it, so it's very easy to miss. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It could actually come in handy when dealing with griefers in public lobbies. The front entrance here is on the side of the building, and there's a lot of open space right in front. But once again, the highway blocks this from the air, so it's suited best for MOC or Terabyte. And helicopter users, you're not left out. There's also a lot of open space in the back of this location, and there's a large parking lot connected to the building on the left side of the nightclub. And there's a second parking lot directly behind the club, which is where the garage entrance is located. This is also the first location we've shown that has access to the roof, which is pretty nice. There's a lot of obstructions up there, so you won't be landing anything besides a oppressor or maybe a Deluxo, but it's still a nice feature to have. Now, a major con of this location is that the LSPD is directly across the street, so be prepared for visitors if you're having any shootouts. One of the nicer things about this nightclub is its proximity to a Los Santos Customs. It's a block down from this location. There's also a couple small garages nearby, a 2-car garage, which is also next to a skate park, and a 6-car garage a little further down the road. The Los Santos Car Meet is also close by, as well as the La Mesa MC Clubhouse. The La Mesa nightclub sits in a pretty nice location on the map with lots of open space despite the highway overpass. And at Los Santos Customs, the Car Meet and the MC Clubhouse being close by is also a nice perk. However, its distance from other major businesses and its closeness to LSPD may steer some away. This brings us to the Strawberry Nightclub, which is the one we currently have. This location can be purchased for slightly above $1.5 million. And as you can see on the map, this nightclub sits right in the middle of the city, giving you quick access to wherever you need to go. This nightclub sits right next to the highway and is inside the iconic paint building, the one with the paint bucket structure on the roof. The front entrance is off this main road, and if you go down the alleyway on the left side of the building, you'll be at the garage entrance. There are 2 garage doors on the left side, but unfortunately you only have access to one. The one farthest down next to the dumpster. You can see that blue cone in front of it. And now we're sure most of you are familiar with this alleyway, but if you're not, or are a new player, this alley hosts Benny's Original Motorworks. And if you continue onto the road and down the street, you'll be at the Disused Factory Outlet, which is a medium cargo warehouse. The Strawberry Auto Shop is also directly behind the nightclub, which is extremely convenient, especially if you like having your businesses close to one another. And down the block you have Simone's Motorsports and the Ammunition. And on the way there is this really neat and almost hidden Vinewood self-storage location, which is across the street from the nightclub, nested under the highway. You should definitely check that out if you haven't been there. This nightclub also has roof access, which is really nice. And if you look in the background, you can see the Arcadius and Maze Bank executive offices, as well as the arena in the opposite direction. This roof is open with no obstructions, so you can land a helicopter or your Hydra with ease. And there's ladders on each side of the roof, and is actually utilized for the Airdrop Flyer nightclub popularity mission. The Strawberry Nightclub is in a great location for players who stay in the city and like their businesses close to each other, but the multiple businesses nearby will bring a lot of traffic, which may be a deterrent for some. Next up is the Mission Road Nightclub. This location can be purchased for a little over $1.4 million, and you can easily miss this nightclub. It's located on the side of a building and is only accessible through a series of alleyways. And, this may be a perk for some, as it brings a bit of a speakeasy vibe to the location. There are several parking spaces in front, which could also be used for landing a helicopter, but this location is also close to the LSPD. You can see it there at the end of the block, so you would want to keep that in mind while operating your business in this location. The nightclub is a part of the building on the right side of this alley. A couple feet in is the entrance. You can see the torn flyers and keypad right behind our character. And it looks like the alleyway is coming to a dead end, but it splits off into 2 separate paths. The one on the left is pretty narrow, but big enough for a motorcycle or to walk through. And then the other one on the right goes behind the nightclub and leads you to this nice open passage. The garage is here on the right, and if you go all the way down and through this open space right here, you'll end in the Legion Square. Which brings us to another con of this location. It may not seem like it, but this is a highly trafficked area. The alleyway behind the nightclub is used for one of the stationary targets in the Headhunter CEO work mission. So if you play in public lobbies, be prepared to see some visitors shooting missiles at you. And once again, going back through this alleyway, you see the garage entrance here on the left, and directly across from it is a large opening off a main road, perfect for getting in and out of your garage and for completing missions. As far as nearby businesses and popular locations, there is a movie theater and a Bingo clothing store block down, Right behind the clothing store is a textile city. This is a pretty cool area. We're sure some of you have drove through here before. And on the end of that block, you have the Mission Row Auto Shop. The Arcadius and Maze Bank executive offices are also a couple blocks from this location. Mission Row is a great nightclub if you like inconspicuous locations, have one of the executive offices in the city, or the Mission Row Auto Shop. However, the tight alleyways, lack of a designated landing area for helicopters, and the high traffic and public lobbies may be a problem for some. The next location is the Vespucci Canals, which can be purchased for slightly over $1.3 million. This is actually the first location we had. This one sits in this back lot and has a small parking lot that's perfect for landing helicopters. The garage entrance is right here on the end, and the main entrance sits a little further down on the side. And there's an oddly placed pillar in front of the parking lot and the garage entrance. We're talking about the one that separates the incline from the stairs. That whole area right there should just be an incline in our opinion. This pillar will get in the way when returning to the nightclub, so you definitely want to keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting this location. And a couple feet down from the nightclub, you'll see this small apartment building on the right. This nightclub uses the roof of this building for the helicopter spawn location and the airdrop flyer nightclub popularity mission we mentioned earlier. You just run up these series of steps and you're right there on the roof. The lot this nightclub is in is shared by the restaurant behind it, so it goes all the way through to the other street. And as for nearby businesses and popular locations, you have the mask shop and the pier a block down. A few blocks in the other direction, there is a medium cargo warehouse, a suburban clothing store, the Del Perro apartments, and the Maze Bank and Lawn Bank West executive offices. And a unique perk of this location is that luxury vehicles sometimes spawn in the parking lot here directly across the street, which you can sell and bank a few grand. The Vespucci Canals location has a nice parking lot and is one of the only nightclubs where the garage and main entrance are close to each other. The close access to the pier, mask shop, and executive offices are also a nice perk. However, the distance from the east side of the city and the pillar that obstructs the entrance to the garage may be an issue for some. A couple blocks north, we have the Del Perro nightclub. This nightclub can be purchased for slightly above $1.6 million. This location is on the corner of this building here, next to the parking ramp with the colorful panels. The front entrance is here off this main road, and once again you can see the keypad behind our character. And the garage is down this alley on the left. And there's actually 3 garages on this one, but once again you only have access to one, the last one after the steps. So very similar to the Strawberry nightclub in that regard. Not sure why Rockstar decided to do that. This location could have really benefited from having access to all 3, or at least 2 of the garages, so you wouldn't have to travel so far from the front entrance. But anyway, if you continue down this alley, you'll see it opens up to a huge lot, which is perfect for landing a helicopter or parking your Terabyte or MOC. The highway on-ramp is also directly across the street from this lot, which makes it really easy to get to the other side of the city. And the Vespucci Canals agency is also right there on the corner. There's also a parking lot here in the end, so there's tons of space around this location to park anything you want. Like the Vespucci Canals nightclub, a suburban clothing store, medium cargo warehouse, and the Del Perro apartments are close by, along with the Lawn Bank and Maze Bank West executive offices and the pier. The Del Perro nightclub is surrounded by several businesses and has a huge open lot that's right in front of a highway on-ramp, but is located in a highly popular area on the west part of the city. So if you have a casino penthouse, arena garage, or frequent the Los Santos car meet, you may want to select a different location. This brings us to the West Vinewood nightclub. This location is the most expensive of the 10, costing $1.7 million. And this is probably one of the most recognizable nightclubs due to its position on the map and its oddly placed billboard. This nightclub shared space with a restaurant, and the main entrance is on the side. You can see the keypad there, and if you continue around the back, you'll see the garage entrance. And this garage is not too far from the front entrance, so that's pretty nice, and it's off the main road, so you won't have to worry about traffic. There's 2 parking lots, so there's lots of open space to land a helicopter or park any of your vehicles. And there's 2 levels, so this location gives you tons of space. West Vinewood is detached with 2 ways to access the back lot. However, there's only one entrance to a lower level parking lot. And there's an alleyway directly across the street that you can take, which will lead you to the street in front of the movie theater and a tattoo parlor. Grab a few blocks down and you'll be at the highway and the casino, as well as the Howick Agency. There's also an ammunition and a Los Santos Customs nearby, and it's also close to the 8-bit arcade and the iconic purple glowing Eclipse Tower apartments. The West Vinewood nightclub is located in a very pivotal part of the city. one of the closest to the casino, and is in proximity to a lot of other major businesses. But the high price tag, the popularity of this area in public lobbies, and the oddly placed billboard may not sit well with some players. Finally, this brings us to downtown Vinewood. This nightclub will set you back close to $1.7 million. This is the second most expensive location and sits the furthest north. It's only a couple blocks down from the West Vinewood location, so if you like this area but weren't too fond of that location, this one may be a better fit for you. The entrance is on the side of the building next to the parking lot, and the garage entrance is off the main road. This is the second nightclub that has its front and garage entrance close to each other. They're actually a little closer than the Vespucci Canals nightclub. You can just park your vehicle at the corner of the building and you'll have equal distance to both. And the roof of this building is unique. It has several levels which are all accessible. This nightclub is not detached, so you can actually roof hop to the other nearby businesses that's connected, like the movie theater and tattoo shop. And as you can see, there's not a lot of open space up there, so you're limited to what you can park, but there's definitely enough room for a helicopter or an oppressor. And one really nice perk to this location is its open space, especially for it being in the city. There's actually 2 large parking lots near this nightclub, one directly behind it and one across the street. So once again, you have tons of space to park or land anything you want. And the alleyway behind the building will take you to a main road, which gives you a straight shot to Arcadius and the Maze Bank executive offices. You can see their faint silhouette in the background. And it's actually a straight shot from both roads this nightclub is off, so it's a nice perk for players who have one of those offices. And once again, this location is only a couple blocks down from the West Vinewood nightclub, so the same businesses are in proximity. However, downtown Vinewood is closer to some of the stilt apartments. They're actually right behind the nightclub. You can see the club right there on the screen. The downtown Vinewood nightclub is nicely placed on the map. It's the furthest north, which is great for completing missions, has 2 large parking lots, and is close to a few of the stilt apartments, and is a straight shot from 2 of the executive offices. But the high price tag, the area's popularity, and its distance from the southern part of the city may be a problem for some. As mentioned earlier, the nightclub popularity and sell missions will take you all over the city, so the best location will really depend on your playing style and where you spend most of your time in the game. So you've heard our thoughts, now we want to know yours. Please let us know down in the comments what features you liked or didn't like about these locations. Tell us which nightclub you ended up purchasing, and if you're switching locations, let us know what caused you to switch. Thank you all for watching. We hope this guide helped you find your new location. If it did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next time, teammates.